Hello everybody, it's Ryan Oakner again for the second episode of my sports recordings. Last week I gave you some predictions for what I thought was going to go down in the college football and NFL games, some big games that happened that weekend. I actually had a pretty good week. I picked 6 out of the 8 games I guessed correctly. I'll just go through some of those and some other big moments that happened in the football world. I know baseball playoffs are going on, some very interesting series going on, very entertaining stuff. The only team that's advanced to this point has been the Yankees, sweeping the Minnesota Twins. The Yankees have had their number for years and years, so no surprise there. So into the football world, Ohio State and Michigan State. I picked Ohio State big. They won big. I remember I actually picked 35-10, I believe, and it ended up being 34-10. So that was a lucky, good prediction on my part. Ohio State's too dominant. Michigan State just doesn't have enough offensively to compete with the Buckeyes. It was an obvious prediction. Ohio State looks good. It looks like they can compete with anybody. We'll see what happens when they get further along in Big Ten play and if they can make it into the playoff. Wisconsin will probably have to play them in the Big Ten championship game the way it's going, which will be an interesting game. We'll see how the season progresses with that. But Ohio State looked great once again. Michigan versus Iowa. I picked Michigan in a close game, which it was. I didn't by no means that I think it would be as low scoring as it was. Michigan won 10-3. Really no offense whatsoever in that game. Jim Harbaugh needed a win. Wasn't pretty, but he got it. If he would have lost to another ranked team, it would have been a really bad look for him and the Michigan program. So big win for them. And then Auburn, Florida. This was a game I got wrong. I thought Auburn, with a pretty good quarterback who looked good, Bo Nix, for the first couple games of the season, I thought he'd be able to go into Gainesville and take down a backup quarterback. Obviously, that quarterback got injured. Auburn really couldn't get anything going against Florida. Florida has a really good defense. They got a legit shot of coming out of the SEC, going to the SEC championship game. Their biggest test will be Georgia in the big game, Florida-Georgia up in Jacksonville. I can't wait for that one, but Florida survives, gets another win. Something that doesn't get talked about enough is how good of a football coach Dan Mullen is. He won at Mississippi State. Nobody really wins at Mississippi State big the way he did. Now he's doing it at Florida. He's in year 2. He's got them in the top 10. They won the big bowl game last year against Michigan, and they're just headed in the right direction. It's impressive. I'm a Canes fan, so I'm jealous that the Gators have Dan Mullen. I still believe in Manny Diaz, even though it was a horrible loss to Virginia Tech. We'll get into that another time, what's going on with Manny when I do a South Florida edition episode. I'll keep this national for now. But Dan Mullen's got it going. He's a great coach, great quarterback guy, great offensive guy. They got a good staff at Florida. I don't know if they're I don't think they're a national championship team yet this year or even a playoff team, but they're headed in the right direction with Dan Mullen. They got that hire right finally after some bad ones. Will Muschamp, Jim McElwain. I think they finally got it right, and they're headed towards prominence like they were back with Urban Meyer. Some NFL games I picked the Seahawks over the Rams. I got a little lucky on that last second field goal attempt by Greg Zuerlein that just shifted outside the goalposts. I'll take it. Great game, really entertaining. Again, people complain about Thursday night games. I once again say the Monday night games are worse than the Thursday night games. That was a hell of a game. Russell Wilson may have played the greatest game I've ever watched him play. He's unbelievable. And again, as a Dolphins fan, it makes me sick because I would tell all my friends back in, I think it was 2012, 2013, when the year they drafted Ryan Tannehill, I let everyone know I wanted Russell Wilson. Take another player in the first round and wait for Russell Wilson. They didn't listen, and Russell Wilson's an absolute stud. People say he's a system quarterback in Seattle. I don't buy that. He's just a stud. He's unbelievable. The play he made to Tyler Lockett in the corner of the end zone was one of the greatest plays you'll see probably all season. And just a good win for Seattle, 4-1 behind San Francisco, who's undefeated in the NFC West. But I still think that's Seattle's division to lose. Great win for them. And then I had the Vikings over the Giants. I knew too much turmoil was coming out of Minnesota's locker room with Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen complaining about catches. I figured Kirk Cousins would bounce back. That's kind of the player Kirk Cousins is. Have a couple of down games, make everyone stop believing in you. Then he'll come back with a good enough game to get a big win, and then he'll go back to old Kirk Cousins. Once they get a big primetime game, you know what's going to happen. He'll wet the bed. he'll mess up and they'll get a tough loss, but big win for them. Daniel Jones kind of looked a little bit more like a rookie. Giants are all right. Giants they got to get Saquon back. They got a quick turnaround. They're playing tomorrow against the Patriots. We'll talk about that on tomorrow's episode about who I like in that game, but we'll see. That'll be an interesting one. Then we had the Saints and Buccaneers. I picked the Saints. I got that one. Teddy Bridgewater, what a great story. Hurt himself real bad a few years ago in Minnesota. People thought he'd be out of the league. Worked his way back. Turned down a possible starting job in my Dolphins to be the backup in New Orleans for Drew Brees. Brees gets hurt. He's come in. He's done unbelievably. Shows what kind of coach Sean Payton is, the culture he's built there, the team he has there. Really an unbelievable start to the season for them. That one loss. They got a win in Seattle, one of the hardest places to play. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with, whether it's Bridgewater or Brees. Brees will be back. And when Brees comes back, I picked them to win the Super Bowl preseason. I still think they're one of the toughest teams to beat. Solid defense, great quarterback play, one of the best head coaches in the league, great play caller. They'll be tough. Big win for them. Tampa, you just don't know what you're going to get with Jameis Winston. You could get really good, really bad in between. I like Bruce Arians. We'll see how they come along. They're in a tough division. Carolina, still a pretty good team with Kyle Allen filling in for Cam Newton. Atlanta's a mess. It looks like Kyle Shanahan had more to do with the success than Dan Quinn did. I wouldn't be surprised if Dan Quinn gets fired before the end of the season. It's just a little fun prediction I'll throw in there. Obviously, Jay Gruden was the first coach to go with the Redskins this week. It was about time. He was horrible. Packers, Cowboys, many people thought the game of the week. I remember I said they were talking in First Take who had more to prove, Rodgers or Prescott. Didn't make sense to me. Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Prescott's a young up-and-coming guy. Rodgers did enough to get the win. They were up big. They were up real big. Cowboys made it interesting a little bit at the end. They missed the field goal that would have cut it to a 7-point game. They would have needed the onside kick. But the Packers dominated that game. Packers are a good team. Real good team. Solid defense. Matt LaFleur needs to work on some things. Get a little more used to coaching. Make those big-time decisions. But with Aaron Rodgers, you always got a chance. The Cowboys, they get the Jets this week, so they should be able to bounce back. But the fact that they were able to dominate on the bad teams, and then they have to play some good ones, and they got beat 2 weekends in a row. A little concerning for Cowboy Nation, but we'll see if they could bounce. They should bounce back against the Jets. We'll see what they do when they play another tough competitor. And the last game I spoke about was the Colts and Chiefs. This one I was dead wrong about. I thought the Chiefs would run them out of the building, and the Colts just dominated them. Offensive and defensive lines dominated from the beginning to the end. They were more physical. They were tougher. They ran the ball down the Chiefs' throats. Mahomes got injured and looked injured. Made some great plays, but didn't look himself. It's a hell of a win for the Colts. Frank Reich, one of the most underrated coaches in the league. They lose their starting quarterback, their Hall of Fame star quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He retires a week before the season. Frank Reich says no big deal. Jacoby Brissett comes in. They're hanging in. I think they're 3-2. They're competing every week. They're going to be a tough out in the AFC South, so it'll be very interesting. Again, those were my predictions last week. Those are how I did. I went 6 for 8, 75% correct predictions. I'll give you another little episode tomorrow previewing this weekend's games, and then this weekend I'm going to have my first guest on the show. My own younger brother, Miles Oakner, will come on and we'll give a full-on NBA preview show. NBA is right around the corner. Preseason has started. Training camp. We're getting into the thick of sports. I can't wait for basketball. Obviously, being a South Florida sports fan, basketball is really the main sport I have here with the Heat. Always competitive. We'll dive into some basketball predictions, a little season preview this weekend. We'll put that out for you. And bear with me with the screen. Right now, it's just a dark screen. I'm trying to find a way, either come up with a logo or a picture, or maybe just do some live videos of me. If you want to see my face, maybe we can do that. We'll see what happens. Again, follow me on Instagram, Oakner, Roakner, at Twitter, Oakner Ryan, OaknerRyan, Facebook, Ryan Oakner. Follow the YouTube channel, like the video, subscribe, share. I appreciate it. You're helping me out big time. Hope you enjoy. I hope my predictions keep getting. I hope you use my predictions. I hope they keep winning. If you want me to get into a little gambling and what I like against the spread, I can do that. Feel free to put in the comments what you want to hear, what you want to see. And I appreciate all the support you guys have given me. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye.